We need to now start from question 6 and question 7. Both are working capital estimation for newly formed company. And whenever you see this in the question, you have to make some modification in the way we work out. So better write down the heading in your notebook: working capital estimation for new companies. Working capital estimation for new companies. In bracket question 6 and question 7. Question number 6, question number 7. Listen. When question is silent, then the basic understanding is it's an existing company, an ongoing company. In an ongoing company, you will have opening balances as well as closing balances. And when there is no information about opening balance and closing balance, you can assume that opening balance is equal to closing balance. You should not assume there is no opening balance at all or there is no closing balance at all. It is wrong to say opening stock 0, closing stock 0 because nothing is given. It's an ongoing company. In an ongoing company, opening and closing balances cannot be assumed as 0 when question is silent. The better assumption would be whatever is the opening stock, same amount is the closing stock also. For example, go to yesterday's solution, any one solution. For raw material consumption, you can refer to first 3 sums that we did. I think question number 4 that we did yesterday. Now go to the solution of question number 4. We took 96,000 into 40 rupee, correct? And then we did into 4 by 52. Now 96,000 into 40, when you do, this is the raw material that you're going to consume for the whole year. And that into 4 by 52 is the raw material that you're going to keep with you. Come down in the same answer. Later for creditors also, we have done same 96,000 into same 40. We only change the credit period, which means indirectly we said consumption itself is equal to purchase, because creditor is not based on consumption, creditor is based on purchase. Since there was no information about opening raw material, closing raw material, we took 96,000 into 40 itself as both consumption as well as purchase. Now consumption is equal to purchase, that doesn't mean opening stock and closing stock is 0. There is some number, but that number is same as closing stock. So if opening stock is 2 lakh, closing is also 2 lakh. Now if opening and closing are same, now tell me purchase is equal to consumption. When they do not give the information, this is the way to understand opening stock is equal to closing stock. Whatever I consume, that can be understood as purchase for the year. But now see the heading that you have written. For a newly formed company, we cannot assume that opening stock is equal to closing stock, because opening stock of a newly formed company will be 0. That means if you have to consume 96,000 into 40, then purchase will not be equal to 96,000 into 40, because opening stock is 0 and at the end of the year you will have to keep some closing stock. Then purchase will be equal to consumption plus some closing stock. You will have to buy little extra. Why did we not do this in other questions? Because there we assume that whatever is the closing stock is equal to opening stock. So even if I do consumption plus closing stock minus opening stock, I am doing same plus and minus. Plus 2 lakh minus 2 lakh, what is the use? Able to follow? When there is no balance of raw material with us, we need to buy little more than what we have to consume, because at the end of the year we want to keep some closing stock. Refer to the same data, question number 4. In that, when you do in Calci 96,000 into 40, how much was consumption number? Do it again if you have not written. 96,000 into 40 is what, sir? 38,40,000. What is this now? For raw material, we understood this as consumption. Later for creditor, we understood this as purchase. because opening and closing was same, correct? Then go to your working capital answer for this question. Go to current asset segment. In that first one is RM stock. You have written a number. How much is that number? 2,95,385. Now tell me, what does this mean? This is what you need to consume, and this is what you need to keep with you all that time. Yesterday I told you, any day you come to my warehouse, this much of raw material is with me. That means this much of closing stock is always with you. Imagine if that question, fourth question, was a newly formed company, then opening stock will be 0. Correct? Now I want to consume 38,40,000. I want to keep 295 with me. That means I will have to buy a little more now. Creditor working will be based on this now. Yesterday, why I did not do? Because in an ongoing company, I can assume even in the last year, opening stock was 295, 385. If these two numbers are same, then consumption itself is equal to purchase. Did you understand? Yeah. On this, there are two questions. We will learn both. Start with question number 6. Day Limited, a newly formed company, underline newly formed company. That means opening stock is 0. A newly formed company has applied to the private bank for the first time for financing its working capital requirement. The following information is available about the projections for the current year. Read. Estimated level of activity, completed units of production 31,200 plus work in progress 12,000. What does it mean? Both FG and WIP information is given in a single sentence. You will have 31,200 completed units FG, and you will have 12,000 WIP units. Next, raw material cost 40, labor cost 15, overhead 40, including depreciation 10. We will take this out, so we will be taking only 30 rupee. Selling price 130. Raw material stock average 30 days consumption. This we know, yesterday we did. Work in progress stock material 100%. Conversion cost 50. This is for labor and overhead. Finished goods stock 24,000. That means this many units will be with us. This is not production. This is stock in hand. Next, credit allowed by supplier 30 days. Credit allowed to purchaser 60 days. That means your debtors. Direct wage lag in payment is 15 days. Expected cash balance 2 lakh rupee. Assume that production is carried on evenly throughout the year. Consider 360 days, which means there is no seasonal up and down. This line, wage and overheads accrue similarly. Underline this. There is a mistake in the way some solutions are drawn for this. When you read the line wage and overhead accrue similarly, what is the meaning? Go to the table. They only gave direct wage delay 15 days. They did not give you overhead delay. In all the questions of previous class, they used to mention that also. Now, when I read this line, direct wage delay 15 days, and then they say wage and overhead accrue similarly, tell me what's the understanding? Overhead should also be outstanding for 15 days. In half of the places they have done this. In other half they have done 0 for overhead, since no information is given. Then why did they print this? In study material itself, in 2 places they have done it in 2 different ways. If this line was not printed and then you take nothing, no overheads are outstanding, that means as and when we incur, everything is paid, nothing is kept outstanding, then understandable. But if you say wages and overheads accrue similarly, that means I'll understand that if this is due by 15 days, even that is due by 15 days. So the better approach would be to consider outstanding overhead also for 15 days and give a note. Do not get confused. If you want, later I'll dictate class note. In RTP, in study material itself, in 2 different places, you'll see 2 different treatment for this. Because this line is clearly printed, overheads and labor accrue similarly, correct approach will be to take same number. If that is 15 days, this should also be 15 days. Clear? Continue. All sales are on credit basis. You are required to calculate net working capital requirement on cash cost basis. Right now, heading estimation of working capital. Make two columns, particulars and amount. First, current asset. In that, raw material. Working note 1. Tell me, what is the second item after this? Do we have WIP information? Yes, work in progress. It will be working note 2. Finished goods, you don't need working note, you just leave one line here itself. Please check and tell me, after finished goods, do we have debtors, credit sale data given? Okay, I'll leave one line here itself. Anything paid in advance? No. Which means, do we have cash balances? Okay. With this, I'll be done with total of current assets. Current liabilities. What are the items? Creditors. That will be another working note. After this, there are only two cost items other than material: wage and overheads. Outstanding wage. I will leave that. Okay, that's also a working note. Outstanding overheads. That will also be a working note. It also has a class note. We will write that later. This should give me total of CA. Working capital is CA minus C. We'll go slow. Yes, sir. Which is the first item? RM stock. How to? In previous set of questions, we would take the annual production quantity into the stock holding period into cost. Here, go to the question. How many units you are going to start and complete? Completed is 31,200. FG means you start and you complete. Remember, there is no opening stock. It's a new company, correct? And how many units you will start but you won't complete? 12,000. Even for that, you need material, because later in the WIP adjustment, you can see there. Okay, don't see there. You tell me. Whenever they say WIP, what is the degree of completion for material? Always 100%. That means the moment you start WIP itself, you need material for this in Calci. How many units you have started and completed? 31,200. That into 40 rupee. M plus one more number. WIP 12,000 into 40. I don't have to multiply with DOC because it is 100% for material. M plus this will be the total raw material that you will be consuming for the entire year, correct? And how long are we going to keep it? sorry, they have given 30 days requirement. So whatever number you get, what's the number you have? M plus number 17 lakh 28,000. Tell me what is 1728,000 annual raw material consumption. But I won't be buying so much and keeping with me. I'll be keeping only for how many days of requirement? 30 days into 30 by 360. This will be the number. Did you first understand the way to do that? RM stock 31,200 units into 40. Understand the logic. This many units I started, I completed, plus 12,000 units I have started, but I have not completed. Even then, the moment I start production, I'll be using 100% of raw material. So I'll have to take it to 40 fully. This 1728,000 is annual consumption, that into 30 days by 360. You have the final number 1,44,000. Let this go to maintain. We can, but I prefer not to. The doubt was, sir, can we just add both and do into 40? We can, but I said let's not do. Copy this in the main answer 144. Yes. What's the second segment now? WIP. Now tell me for WIP. How many units of WIP do we know? Yes. What is the material cost? For material cost 40 rupee. Is it 100% incurred? Yes. Which means nothing doing in calci. Wait now. If I take 12,000 into 40, that is a material component in WIP, plus again 12,000 into how much is labor cost? 15, but degree of completion is only 50%. One more memory plus, add again overhead 12,000 into, remember I have to minus the depreciation portion, so it is 12,000 into 30 into 50%. One more memory plus, add all the three, that's the value of WIP. I'm doing material component, labor component, overhead component, and adding all of this. Sir, yesterday we did not do this way. Yesterday what used to happen? They used to give you 96,000 units into 2 weeks by 52 weeks. When you do 96,000 into 2 by 52, what you get is WIP units. Today they have given WIP units 12,000 direct. Understanding? Yesterday they used to give us time period. Now where is the time period in today's question? See, yesterday's all workings at WIP will take 1 week to complete, 2 weeks to complete, 18 days to complete. We had the information. Now we don't have the information. That means they've already done that annual units into some days by 360 days. They know how many units are in process all the time. Anytime you come to my factory, 12,000 units are always in progress, on which I would have spent full 40 rupee material, half of labor and half of overheads. Right? Start working note 2. WIP line by line, 12,000 units into 40 rupee material component into 100%. This number 12,000 into labor cost, but that is just 50%. 12,000 into overhead excluding depreciation, that into half done, 50%. This total should give me WIP value 7,50,000. Correct? Sir, are we not doing into 2 weeks by 52, 4 weeks by 52? No. After doing that itself, they gave you 12,000 units. Otherwise, you see your annual production is 31,200. Right? So they've already done that annual units into some weeks by some weeks, and then they told you anytime you come to my factory, this much is always in progress. Clear? Copy this now. 7.5 lakh WIP. Working note done. Next, finished goods. I don't have to do working note because you read in the question, in the table, they have already given FG stock in hand. How many units? 31,200 you produce. How many units are with you? 24,000 units. 31,200 is the production of FG. 24,000 is with you. You know what is the other thing that you should understand in Calci? 31,200 you have produced minus 24,000 units are with you. What's the number now? What is the meaning of that number? That should be sales that I'll take in data. There is sales data in the question. That's the way to calculate. Sir, opening FG, no, it's a new company. 31,200 you produced, 24,000 is still with you. That means the difference is what you have sold. Now I am in FG calculation, so I will take number of units of FG with me into, tell me, material 40 plus 15 plus only 30 rupee. This should give you directly the value of FG. 2040, is it? Understand, not to get confused. The moment they say 24,000 units are with us, go by my yesterday's sentence. Any day you come to my showroom, this many units are with me. Again, don't search where is 2 by 52, 4 by 52. Correct? This number is already, after doing that, they are telling you I always carry 24,000 FG into cost per unit. That is what I carry in rupee term. Now, debtors. Debtors will be based on sales. How do I calculate sales? In this question, they have not given. Start doing it. 31,200 you produced, correct? Minus how much is still with you? 24,000. So one small doubt. 31,200 is FG. Then there is the WIP 12,000. Should we add that? No, can WIP be sold to debtors? What can be sold is only FG. 31,200 produced, 24 is still with me. Opening is anyway 0. So 31,200 production, 24 is still with you. That means this number is sold. What's the number? Into debtor is valued at cost, and cost per unit is already with you, 40 plus 15 plus 30. Sorry, what is 6,12,000? Go slow and tell me what is 6,12,000. Think and tell me what is 6,12,000. Is it debtor value or sales value? Cost of sales value. Observe what you did. 31,200 production, 24,000 is still with you. That means that many units sold into 40 plus 15 plus 30. This should be cost of what you have sold. I can't write this number here. What's the time that I'm giving to my customers? Sorry, that should be done now into 60 by 360. This number is my debtor. 1 lakh odd. 1 lakh 2,000. I repeat, for those who are slightly confused, 31,200 production, new company, so no opening stock. In that 24,000 is still with us. That means the difference 7,200 we have sold. When I multiply with 40 plus 15 plus 30, I get to know cost of one unit. 40, 15, 30 is cost of one unit into this. That will give me total cost. That into time period. Right? What else? Cash, I think, is directly given. Just copy to that. You have the number in your 32000. All good. Next, creditors. This will be my working note number 3. Now, we'll have to go slow. Everybody. When we did this RM stock, in yesterday's class, we used to take this number itself, 1728, and work out. When I did 31,200 into 40 plus 12,000 into 40 and added both, this number was what number? RM consumption number. I have no opening stock with me, correct? And then I did into 30 by 360. What is the meaning of 144,000? Yesterday I explained, any day you come to my godown, this much of raw material should be with me, which means on 31st March when I prepare balance sheet also, this much of raw material will be with me, correct? So in Galaxy 1728,000 you will consume plus 144,000 you will keep with you. That number is the total stock that you have to purchase. Opening stock is anyway 0. If you want to know, it is minus 0 because it's a newly formed company. Understanding? What's the number you have? That should be the total purchase. And what is the time that our creditors are giving to us? If you do that into 30 by 360, correct? That should give you amount of creditors, right? Start. Working note 3. 60 days. Creditors, please start writing. Creditors. Well, when we write, we'll do it. No problem. Sorry, my fault. Continue. That's okay. I read the previous one. All okay. I read the word purchasers incorrect. Done, sir. Okay. Can I continue? Please. That is the last thing. Before that, there is a lot to do. Creditors are based on, start writing, are based on value of purchases. Creditors are based on value of purchases. Purchase is equal to, tell me what plus what? Consumption plus closing stock. Actually, it is minus opening stock also, but since it is 0, I am not writing. Consumption number is with you 1728,000. This is coming from working note 1, correct? Plus closing stock 144,000. That is also coming from working note 1. This total is what you're going to purchase on 18 lakhs 72,000 will be my purchase. But this is annual purchase. Therefore, creditors is equal to 1872,000 into which number to be taken? Guys, credit allowed by supplier. So this is the number 30 by 360. What's the number? 000. What if they say creditors are offering 10% discount? 1872 gross purchase minus 10% on that you work. Yesterday in the list of formula, this was there. RM cost minus discount if any. Correct. So 156 now will go here. Next, outstanding wage, working note number 4. First of all okay? Doubt? Anything to be repeated? No. Listen. First of all, I need to know the wage cost for the year, and that is not just your 31,200 into labor cost. For the WIP also, half of the labor cost is for this year. I repeat, when you do 31,200 into labor cost per unit, that is the labor cost for the goods that have been started and completed. But they have started some work on WIP, but that's only half done. So half of the salary is for this year. The other half will be for next year. Therefore, you tell me what into what now? 31,200 into how much is labor cost? 15 rupee. You tell me now. Plus what? 12,000 into 15 rupee, but only half of the cost is for this year. This will be your annual labor cost for the year. Is it clear? First copy this. 31,200 units into 15. This is for labor or wages. 31,200 into 15. This is for the work they started and completed. Plus for another 12,000 they have started but only half done. So I'll be counting only half of the cost as this year cost. Balance half will count in the next year. Anybody? 5 lakh 58,000. Understand this is the labor cost for full year. And what's the time period for labors? 15 days. Therefore, outstanding wages is equal to 558,000 into 15 by 360. Anybody? 93, 23,250. Just take this in the main table. 23,250 here. Outstanding overheads working note. Start writing. Since it is given in the question, start writing. Since it is, start writing. Since it is given in the question that, copy the same line. What did they say? Wages and overheads accrue similarly. Wages and overheads accrue similarly, comma, it is assumed that there is 15 days delay. There is 15 days delay in overheads payment also. Overheads payment also. Write one star. Maybe on top of the page you can write that star again and write there. Alternatively, we can ignore outstanding overheads by stating that there is no specific reference about the same in the question. That's what they've done in some solutions. But because this line it says accrue similarly, I'll be taking same 15 days here also. Now you tell me what should be the working. No calci first, tell me. Yes sir, 31,200 into what? 30 rupees. This is for the completed components. 1,000 into 30, only half of the cost. This should give me total cash overheads during the year. Anyway, depreciation is kept out, and that into same number 15 by 360 should give me the answer. Do it now. 31,200 into 30 rupees plus 12,300 into 30 rupees into 50%. I need this number. 111600. This is your cash overheads for the year. Therefore, outstanding overheads will be this number, and we are delaying it by 15 days. 500. So if I go by alternate assumption, I'll simply write that since there is no specific reference, comma, it is assumed that overheads are paid on time. That means there is no outstanding overhead. So this will become 0. Your answer will differ by this amount. Take 46,500 in the main table. Anybody? Current liability 220. Okay, and 301050. Any safety margin adjustment? No. Anything you have not understood, please ask. Doubt? 7,000 debtors. Then you sold nothing during the year. Correct? Now 31,200 was produced. 24,000 is still with us. Can I assume that 7,200 is also stock but safety stock? If you take it as safety stock, then you should increase the FG in hand, whether it is normal stock or safety stock. That is your money blocked. Then you have to increase that 7,200 in the FG line. So net it won't make a difference. That is one way. Second way, if I go by that logic, then I have not sold even a single unit during the year, which normally won't happen. Second doubt, yes, zero. Creditors. Tell me, creditors are based on what? Consumption or purchase? Purchase. How to calculate purchase? Purchase and talk. How to calculate? How much to purchase? Listen, today I want to consume 10 kgs. End of the day, I want to keep 1 kg while going home. I already have 2 kg with me in the morning. Tell me now, how much should I purchase according to you? 10 I want to use, 1 I want to keep, that means 11. I already have 2, that means I have to purchase 9 kg. That means creditor will be based on 9 kg into say 100 rupee. That means purchase value 900. Correct? In this question, what happened? This number 1728,000 is what you have to consume. Correct? Plus, how much is the closing stock we wanted to keep? Here, this number 144,000. Correct, sir? That is plus 144,000 you want to keep with you. But do you have anything when you open the business? No, because it's a new company, so this is 0. Correct? That means 1728 consumption, 144 to be kept. This total itself will be my purchase And this, what is the time period that my suppliers are giving me? Sorry, 30 by 360 is the outstanding credit. Yeah. Any other questions? No. Sure. Then you try the next.